Garby's adorable, and she cancels out some things about Kendall. Tell me if you guys agree with me down in the comments. She cancels out some things about Kendall. Love Island Games. So I wasn't sure that I wanted to, review Love Island Games, but I think it's getting to a point now where okay, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll talk about it. I wanted to step away from the entire Love Island franchise because season 7 just did a number on all of us, most of us, but I can't help it. Some of my faves are on the show. So I wasn't familiar with Selene and Mert, so let's just start from the beginning, I guess, work my way up. I wasn't familiar with Selene and Mert. I didn't like Selene's demeanor when she came into the villa and she was kissing all the boys. I think she was trying too hard to be something. However, to be alluring and like a siren or whatever, and I think I started liking her because she's very matter of fact, and direct, and she says what's exactly on her mind, but she doesn't necessarily do it in a rude way either. So I kind of like that because I like to be direct as well. So I was gravitating towards her. I didn't want to see her go, but the language barrier was a real thing for Mert. So I understand, him being eliminated because of that, we weren't getting a lot from him. Neither was Lucinda. Talking about Lucinda, I don't know. I didn't watch her season of the UK Love is Blind, so I don't really know much about her. But right now she's coupled up with Zay, and I like them together. They're cute. They're cute. Who else got eliminated? Chris and KK got eliminated. I really wanted to see them more and to see how things would develop. Chris was kind of being, I'm not here for a relationship, I just want to focus on the games, but I think KK would have eventually wore him down, but I think that if he weren't so gung-ho about being for the games and focus a bit more on the love side of things, people probably wouldn't have seen him as such a threat to want to get rid of him, right? But they made a good call by taking Chris out with Johnny when they had the opportunity. It's the right call because none of the other guys, I think, could take Chris in a duel. So using Johnny at the opportune moment, especially when he came in and he was fresh and hungry to fight for his spot in the villa, that was the perfect move. And I think Isaiah made the right call in doing that, even though it was a difficult one. Who else left? Charlie. Poor Charlie. Like, he had to go through that twice. Charlie, maybe just leave Love Island alone after this, right? Or if you're gonna try it again, you need to be an OG, not a bombshell, because you don't bombshell very well. All right, Charlie, but yeah, I'm sorry that you had to go. I really wish you would have gotten an opportunity to see more. I like Charlie, he's cool. What's going on now? So Nicola, I liked Nicola. She comes off innocent and like a very nice, sweet girl, but I didn't like how she handled the situation with KK. Like, when she went over, this was a big deal, and coming off of season 7 with Huda and the black women, seeing Nicola and KK again in a similar situation regarding KK wanting her time to process, get mentally prepared for the duel, and she was very nice and polite to Nicola in saying, can you just give me a moment, I'm not ready to talk right now, I just want to get my mind ready for the duel. And Nicola wanted to apologize to kind of like alleviate herself from the guilt that she was feeling, essentially, but not necessarily understanding that KK is going into battle right now, and she needs to prepare for that. Nicola, you should have just given her the time and space to get her mind right. Instead, she had to have Nicola's feelings on her mind also, on top of the fact that she has to go duel her best friend in the villa, and she's up for elimination, might be up for elimination, missing out on 250k. Like, Nicola, why were you even crying and hoping and hollering? So the more I'm seeing of Nicola, even her saying America will be my best friend, America, I love you, da 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 da, I think she was being smart. Nicola is smart. Nicola is playing into, you know, the narratives and what's the word I'm looking for? She's you know, trying to get America to like her and be on her side by saying the things that she's saying and doing the things that she's doing and moving the way that she's moving. But I also think she's a nice girl, but she's also being very strategic. Very strategic. Peep that. Yeah, so Nicola is being very strategic, guys. Don't let her fool you. Don't let the innocence fool you. She's being very strategic, so it might be working on some people. Who is Nicola coupled up with now? She's coupled up with what's that guy's name? Casey from the UK season, and yeah, he's not a good person to be coupled up with either. But I like how everybody's just saying they're there for the money and not they're there for love. And Draina, I think, was the only one saying that she's there for love, and we see how that works out for her. So I like that everybody's honest this time around, saying that they are there for the cheddar, right? So at least nobody can, you know, go back and forth. You lied to me, da 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 da. Good. Casey's also a menace, so he can't be trusted. You know, can't be trusted either. Who else is? I like Kendall and Garby. I really do like them together. I'm actually happy to see that Kendall has found someone who can tolerate Kendall, right? Because Kendall is actually moving differently, surprisingly. He's, you know, moving differently, kinda. For one, he's keeping his nose out of people's business. For one, good clap. Good job, Kendall. Good job. Keep your nose out of people's business. That's good. At least that's how he's being edited. Let me say that, right? I didn't like the fact that he was siding with Lucinda over Garby, and I love that Garby stood her ground where that situation is concerned. Because if you're in a couple with me, and regardless of, I understand that you're friends, but we're working on something, and I would like to know that you trust me and you can take my word as, you know, my bond, or you can believe me when I say XYZ, you know, and not question me, because then that's going to make me have doubt in what we have going on. So it was completely the wrong move on Kendall's part to side with Lucinda in that situation, but he eventually came to his senses and apologized, so him and Garby could, you know, move on. And I really love that. I love that for them. And also, he surprised me in his duel against Marvin. You know, I didn't know that Kendall had that fight in him, so it was very nice to see. And I think seeing Garby fight like that motivated him a little to, you know, be more gung-ho about fighting for his place in the villa. It was good to see. And I think now that people saw how well, especially, they work together, they're gonna be a target. They're gonna now be a target for people in the villa. But Garby's adorable, and she cancels out some things about Kendall. Tell me if you guys agree with me down in the comments. She cancels out some things about Kendall. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. What else? Who else is there? Okay, let's touch on Tyrique and Justine. Now, I love how Justine was, you know, keeping Tyrique on his toes. Right now I'm watching Love Island UK season 10, because I stopped watching UK for a bit, but I decided to watch season 10 just to see what kind of menace Tyrique was like. So I'm really, really glad, you know, not really glad, but I got to see kind of simultaneously when he was being a menace on Love Island Games and a menace on Love Island UK season 10. So he has not changed. He has not changed one bit. Still decided to move mad, and Justine knew it. She unfortunately fell into his trap, you know, and got. I thought that she would have been a bit more smart about that, but also she didn't have much wiggle room because there was no one else in the villa unless she was going to talk to Marvin. and maybe she didn't have enough time to formulate a relationship with him to, you know that she could actually choose him instead of Tyrique. And while I'm speaking about just the Justine situation, I think that Josh was foul for what he did to Justine by saying he's good where he's at, and Justine saying she's good where she was at. So she understood that to be, okay, we're gonna stay in this couple to, take on the challenges, but you can go get to know Andrea as you please. But I think that the decision that really changed Josh's mind was the performance that he saw Andrea put down with KK in that duel. And he saw Andrea being a strong competitor, as strong as Justine was, and he thought, okay, yeah, she's a badass, so I can couple up with her, have the romantic aspect, as well as us be strong in challenges. I can't fault Josh for that. Everybody's being strategic and playing their own game. However, he should have really tried to pull Justine to the side and say, hey, this is what I'm gonna do, so you should go with Tyrique, or whatever the case is, instead of leaving her out to dry. However, I do recognize that, since we're all learning about the producers and production and how they move, they orchestrated that situation, or not orchestrate, but they deliberately decided a recoupling at that time, so that that drama could have gone down the way it went down, and the Islanders not be prepared, so that they could, produce the show and have the effect that it had. And it worked. Chef's kiss. It worked perfectly, right? So yeah, Justine should have made a calculated move by listening to Josh really even more closely. And not even Josh did that. She had a conversation with Andrea, and Andrea was talking about her being romantically interested in Josh, and the fact that Josh and Andrea had a history before Justine came in the villa. Justine, I think, should have known that Josh should have gone for Andrea the moment that he got the opportunity to. I mean, I could see it from watching the show. So, but yeah, I don't know. Again, we don't know what's happening in the rest of the 23 hours or whatever time in the villa that they don't show us, and the conversation that these Islanders are having, right? What else? So yeah, Justine got by Tyrique because of, what Josh did. And I just think going forward, Justine needs to couple up with Tyrique for the games, but she doesn't have to stick with him. If somebody else comes in where she sees she could win the game, possibly win the game with that person, move on and go pair up and have a business relationship with that person, and leave Tyrique the hell alone. As much as, like, Tyrique is one of those guys where it's a love-hate relationship, right? It's a love-hate relationship. You want to hate him, but you still like him. You know what I mean? So I'm still rooting for Justine, and I guess Tyrique by proxy, because Justine has no other choice right now until some fresh meat comes in the villa, and we'll see. What else am I missing? Johnny and Andreina. Now, I can definitely see things from Johnny's perspective, that this might be unpopular opinion, but from the jump, Andreina wasn't in the villa to play the game. She was there looking for love, and this is Love Island Games. So why are you there looking for love? Especially when everybody else around you is saying they're there for the money, and if they happen to find love along the way, fine. But you should have, adapted to the environment that you were in. But because she was so vulnerable and Johnny ended up saving her, she saw Johnny as her knight in shining armor, and Johnny, I think he was all enamored by her beauty and her body, but she really was not pulling any kind of weight. And for Johnny to be as competitive as he is, he needs someone who's going to be just as competitive as him. So I don't blame him for dropping Andreina. And but it's just the way in which it happened. And like I said, these producers, they don't give them any opportunity to fix a situation or to talk through something. When they find the right opportunity, they're gonna set Ish up for Ish to go down, for the shock value of it all. That is their job, and it makes it interesting for us as viewers, and it keeps us coming back to see what the hell is going to happen the next night. All right, so we can't be mad at the producers for producing a show. So yeah, Johnny is gonna Johnny. Johnny's always gonna Johnny. So Andreina even should have known that. I also think that Andreina, because she's beautiful, she has great body, she has pretty privilege, and she's probably used to using her pretty privilege a lot. And Johnny even went as far as to have a conversation that Tyrique had the same issue with her, where she's not, to me, she lacks depth. From Love Island season 7, it was, even Brian called her boring and all that, and now we can see why Brian probably thought she was boring, right? Johnny had the same issue, Tyrique had the same issue, and she even said on the show, where she has heard, it's not the first time that she's heard that, you know, she is not giving enough, it's surface level for the guys. So she definitely, I've been saying it to my husband, she lacks depth. She lacks depth, and I think maybe it comes from, you know, a lot of people who are very handsome, guys who are handsome, ladies who are beautiful, sometimes they don't develop you know, a certain character about them, because they have been living based off of their physical features all their lives. And when people don't have to do much to achieve anything, or people fawn at them just because of how they look, they tend to not develop in other areas. So that might be the case with Andreina. I'm not sure, but that's just one thing that I speculate could be happening with her, why she may not have the ability to go deeper, because she's not being required to, because of her beauty and her body type. Her phenotypical features have carried her, you know, but you know, those features typically can carry you so far, and after the physical, there needs to be a bit more personality. She comes off as, you know, just kind of nerdy, dorky kind of, and I wouldn't have guessed that looking at her, you know. So I think she probably needs to go to therapy to unlock what that block is, if there is a block, as to why she cannot, you know, go deeper and open up. She needs to go to therapy to unlock that, yeah, to find out what the reason is. So that's my opinion on Andreina. So yeah, I can't necessarily blame Johnny, but also I feel sorry for Andreina for what he did. Is it just me, or when Andreina is crying, it just seems fake and put on? Is it just me, guys? Like, comment down below and let me know. Like, her tears and her crying just doesn't seem to even be coming from, you know, a deep place. It also seems very surface level to me. Like, I don't know, like when I watch her cry, that's just what I get. I can't connect with her. There's nothing that I connect with Andreina on. Nothing. It's just emptiness. Emptiness where Andreina is concerned. So yeah. Am I missing anything with Love Island games? Oh, Gabby came in. I like Gabby from UK. I watched Gabby on her season when she was with Marcel, the UK season, and then she was on Love Island All Stars, and that's where she was coupled up with Casey on Love Island All Stars. I didn't finish watching All Stars. To me, it was just kind of boring, so I stopped watching it. So I didn't get to see how things developed between her and Casey, but they're not together, so I guess it was shit as well. So I'm gonna be interested in seeing how well she and Gabby and Johnny work together. Gabby looks fit, so let's see. Sometimes looks can be deceiving, you know. Oh, I'm also proud of Andreina for, you know, going hard in her duel. Like, she gave Garby a run for her money. I'm happy that she left with that redemption, you know, instead of thinking that she's completely useless at these challenges. I'm glad that she got that redemption. I'm happy that she did. So yeah, let's see how things go with Gabby. I don't have much comment on that. I hope she just has her wits about her and don't allow Johnny to, you know, pull any fast ones on her. So it depends on who else walks in the villa at this point. But this is what, week 2 that they're going in. It's gonna be 3 weeks, so we're not gonna really have a long season of Love Island games. It'll be over probably by mid-October, thereabout. So yeah, we have a few more days to see how things pan out with the show. But who are you guys rooting for? Let me know down in the comments. I'm rooting for Justine. I mean, it would be epic if she wins again. Epic. But I think the Islanders are gonna be gunning for her, unfortunately. If I should put money on someone to win Love Island Games, I wouldn't be surprised if Nicola ends up the winner, because right now she's coasting and she's coasting up to America, #1. I wouldn't be surprised if she ended up being the winner. Also, Lucinda and Isaiah might end up being the winners because they're also coasting under the radar so far. So those are my picks. I don't know who Nicola will end up with, but Casey isn't into her either. So, but I think, yeah, she might just skate through to the finals. You know what I mean? Yeah. Am I missing anyone? Oh, you know what? I like the relationship between Andrea and Josh. I like them together. Surprisingly, I do. And I actually like Andrea. We didn't get to see her personality in, on season 6 because she left early. But I like Andrea. I do like her. Yeah, I like her and Josh. Apart from Josh, doing what he did to Justine, he's cool. I like them together. But they're Target also. So yeah, Nicola, Lucinda, they made us skate through and end up in the finals. But we'll see. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.